validation in Angular to be simple, it's easy, but you have to keep it simple, right? There's only really three things that we really care about, and that is form states. Form states? What's a form state? Well, form state. Remember I talked about dirty? Oh, they'll probably think it's dirty. Bad joke. All right. No, what I mean is the form has been modified or it's pristine. And if it's pristine, what does that mean? It has not been modified yet. We don't want to do error correction on a form that has not actually been used yet, right? Imagine you go to a form and then you see there's everything's in red. That might not make you want to fill out the form, right? So almost certainly it's not going to make you want to fill out the form. So we got to make sure that we're doing it according to form standards. Nope. So I still think we can do the validation. Besides, validation is only worth like 10 points. So at the end of the day, it'll be fine. Even if you don't do it. Student app, boom. And we go ng serve, and I don't have a browser open, so we're going to go ahead and do that. While we're doing it, we're going to talk about the validation scheme. So in the database system, we used what's called hibernate validation, JSR 33 or whatever number it was. I don't even remember what number it is because it's stupid, but it's hibernate validation. Angular doesn't have anything like that. What do? Angular is really close to HTML, right? So we are going to use basic HTML. Okay, can't read this. Also, don't look at my personal links. My personal links right now have, I think this is it. Right now I have blue elephant, white elephant gifts, gag gifts. No, right? So they're pretty inappropriate things. Yes? All right. So we get to use constraint validations from HTML. Now, the bad news is we have to use constraint elements, constraint validation from HTML. Okay, so it sounds good, but there's a lot of things we can automatically use, like URLs, and it'll automatically make sure the URL is a functioning URL. It's pretty cool, right? Email address, same thing. It'll make sure it's an actual email address. The string type stuff works great. Number type stuff, we actually have to do some custom stuff. So unfortunately, we have to do it. But the good news is you just take what I'm going to create it for you in class, and you just take it and use it as is, right? That's kind of nice, right? You don't have to actually recreate it yourself. You also have regular expression patterns you can use. I urge you to avoid them. Okay, urge you to avoid them. This is the ones that are bad, min and max. We're going to try it again, but they're not going to actually work. We'll talk about that in more detail later on, but it's not going to work. The most important one is required. This works and works for numbers and for what's called. That means they can't leave it blank, right? And you're like, wait, what? Step, I ignore steps, so I'm not going to mess with it. Min length and max length, you want to make sure a string is actually not 0. You can use min length. It works really well. For strings, things work really well for strings. They don't work so well for other things. Complex, what they call complex validation. And you can see here, you can say if it's Switzerland, right, as an example, you can use a regular expression to get the detail. But look how complicated it is. None of you should need to do this for your homework or for the project, right? You don't need regular expressions. You just need the required string not to be blank. 90% of that is what you're going to need. Yes? For your homework, there's no different. But here's the cool part. Remember our model, right? Y'all remember the model, yes? The form is actually an object as well. So we can actually cheat and say, hey, I put the required on these things. If those are all invalid, I'm not going to let you submit the form. Right? Just like we did with JavaScript. But watch how easy. So I apologize. I have the script again. I have the script is. Here we go. It's actually quite easy. Talked about the constraints. We talked about the constraints. So we're going to use an email. I don't love email because I don't love email. Number is the one we're going to care about. We have telephone. It can actually match a telephone number. You can actually get specific. You want to use a US with a country code or no country code, you can actually remove those things out of the URL. There are more dates and color pickers, but the two we care about because we're students and review IDs is what? Numbers, strings. Yes. Now, if you left your ID as a string, you might need to use a regular expression, but the regular expression we used, you just used from the previous one, right? If you recall. No? Yes? All right. I'm making fun now, but that's because I'm tired. The biggest thing to remember is min-max is the one that does not work, or damn. And you go, what do you mean? Min-max actually does not work. So it says it works, and you go make yourself crazy if you want, but it really does not work. It's localhost 4200. Yeah. And we'll also learn to transpile our code today. We'll do that as well. I think I do that today. But required is going to be most of our thing. So all I'm going to do is we're going to play with the SID. So I need the form. We're going to do add student only. We're only doing add student. All of this would work for edit student. And I probably will only do one or two fields just because I'm saving time, right? So student ID can be anything at this point. But we also don't have required, right? I can click it and it fails. That's why it's getting back to this, but it is actually submitting something. Ruh-roh, right? Because like, you know, Scooby-Doo, ruh-roh. We don't want that to happen. So what can we do? I didn't open it yet, did I? Student app. Open with code. All right. So many things I have to open up, right? Okay. So we have a couple things we're going to do today. Two of them include making it so that you can edit it. We don't currently have a way for you to get to an edit page without you typing in the URL. We're going to actually have a link in there later on from the student list or from student detail. I don't know which one we'll do, but we'll do that later. Okay. What we're actually interested in doing is going to add student and just the HTML. I'm just going to go change the input type to a number. And I'm going to type required. DBB. Yeah, I can do the required a whole bunch. I don't really care about that. Yeah. So here we go. Right. So we have this span style. If an SID already exists, right? We just add the SID already exists, right? Yeah. AGF. It's about to get a little bit more complicated in here. Sorry. Okay. Let's do it to it. All right, so here we're going to check to see if required. And all we have to do is, I can't read it. Sorry, I need my glasses. They're in my bag, but I don't really care. Uh, yes. So SID. Nope. And all I'm going to do is put this text in here. And for now, I'm going to say SID is required, right? And right now, rather than do an if, I'm just going to put a not, right? Remember, I'm using the concept of mutual exclusion, essentially. Yes? It's either going to be valid or it's going to be invalid. And I'm just trying to keep it simple. There are many better ways to do this. Yes, I'm aware. But right now, that's the way I'm doing it. We're going to save it. Ta-da! Something's wrong. Did this wrong. How did I do it wrong? You wait, hold on a second. I did this wrong, didn't I? Hold on. NG model, student name. Name is SID. Wait, I did this right. Hold on. Something weird that I'm missing. All right. Type number required and name is SID. All right. There's a lot of text here. Give me a second. Ah, okay. Screwed this up. Yep. Right. Give me a second. I'll explain why it's being pissy. All right. So remember I told you the form is an object, but you actually have to tell it that what the object's name is. And so that's what I'm doing here. Now, when I do that, I should be able to check then if the SID is invalid. And ta-da! Now we have a problem, Houston. What's the problem? The form is showing that it's required. The form is showing the error. I haven't done anything wrong yet. Is that appropriate? No, it's not. It's not appropriate. Why? Because it's not right. We're not finished yet, right? We have a lot more to do, but that's one thing we can do. There's one thing I want to show you real quick. Before we go on, I want to go to the submit form, submit. And disabled equals not. Oh, I need to name the form. Need to name the form. We want no validate. And we want this to be named my form. You know why we want to name it my form? We have to name the object if we're going to use the name later. That's all that's happening. We need to name the object, and that's all that's happening. The ng form, it's going to be in my form. I'm just naming this object. So then I can come back here and go disabled, not sorry, not my my form. If my form's invalid, guess what we should not do? Not let you submit it. Yes. And we want to make sure it compiles, and still let you do it. Why? Did I miss something? No. You did the form. And all right. ng submit. Did I already do the ng submit part? Yep. We got that. All right. So that is annoying. I will figure out what I'm doing wrong in a minute. I am skipping something, I'm sure. All right. I think I did it right. I think this is just being stupid. It said it was unchanged. You see? I think it's not taking my change. All right. It is still allowing it to be changed. So I'm going to do that. Come on, seriously? What are you doing? Oh, I must have control pasted. All right, we have to deal with states, which is next. We have three states that we have to worry about. We have valid and invalid, right? That is the first state that we come across um, that we're seeing here. I want to remind you that it does in fact do full time. So as soon as I put something in, the form is now valid. Should be disabled. Yeah, did I misspell disabled? Now I'm like concerned that I misspelled it. It is disabled. I didn't misspell it. Can't wait. I would be shocked if I misspelled it. Ah, guess what I did? There we go. I had it on the reset rather than the derp, derpy derp. Yes. Um, we go to add student and doesn't do anything now. Yay. It's still there. Doesn't darken, doesn't change its color. We can change its style if we want to. Doesn't do anything. It doesn't go away because of the CSS coloring. If it was actually just left as a form and not uh, colored with CSS, then the disabled form would literally change color to like a darker gray and it'd be obviously disabled. You can actually set in the CSS like a state thing for disabled for that button if you chose to do so. Is it necessary? No. What's important is it's not submitting invalid data. But we have a problem. The problem is we have a state issue. And you go, wait, what do you mean state issue? We have states. Okay, what actually happens when we have a new form, this shouldn't show an error until there's actually an error. If it's pristine and hasn't been modified, the user hasn't entered anything wrong. We don't want this to show up. However, if it's dirty and the user has modified it, what do we want? Error. Yes? Does everybody get what I'm getting at here? The other thing too is that a string by default will not let you put an empty string is not allowable, right? So I'm just going to make name required as well. we'll do this name thing as well in a minute, but I just want to make this required. I didn't do any error checking. There's no error checking here.
Doesn't matter where you put the required in there.
Yes, it's got to be in the text field.
Okay.
So the
Because you
input
had it,
type.
like, in one part there. And,
Oh no, does it matter which order? No.
yeah. Okay.
None
Just
of
as
that
long as
matters. No, none of that matters. Any input should be the first thing.
Yeah.
I believe that does matter in terms of order, but outside of that, none of these other things matter. I want to point out a number though, but real quick before we go away. I just put required here, so now it's gonna make that be required. So we have that failing, but now if I do this, it still fails because I now name is required, right? It's an empty field, and so it's going to be like not okay. So we don't need max length as long as we're expecting a string, because a string has to be in it. Otherwise, this will never accept. Okay. Required means not blank in addition. But I want to show you something about the number. When I click on it, you see this thing? It's moving the number up and down. I don't know. Can you not see it? Well, you know, you can see it or not? Yeah, now, right? Zoomed in. But you see that? This is what's controlled by min and max. So if I go put in the number 3 and the min is 10,000, nobody cares. Nobody cares. And the reason why nobody cares is this is not being controlled by this. If I was using this to get there, then yes, it would say I have a problem. So that way you can't do min and max the way you think you should be doing. But we're going to have nasty little things. And you go, okay, so what do we want to do? If the SID is valid, oops. If it's invalid, if it's not, oh, excuse me. Or, yeah, there you go. What is the one I want? There we go. Nope. Ruth, come on, Ruth. So we can do the ands and ors. That's what we're going to do is we're going to check to see if it's dirty or dirty or touched. That's the other one. Right? So what does touched mean? Touch means you gain focus and you may lose focus. You might not have actually modified it. Okay? If you click in the field and you don't change anything, you still touched it. Hi, my sister's touching me, right? Those of you with siblings, right? My sister used to say, I'll touch you, all right? She's bigger than me. She used to sit on me. And I used to not be able to breathe while she sat on me. So if it makes you feel better. Also, my son is in awe of how she treats me because she likes to hit me. She's one of those, she does that a lot, you know? She's not hitting me hard, but she's my call back, right? And so my son is just like, I want to be able to do that to you, Dad. And I'm like, that's not really good behavior, dude. So if it's invalid, if it's not invalid, or if it's pristine, and what I'm going to do is essentially do this pristine or untouched and untouched. If it's pristine and untouched, right? And you go, you're going to get these wrong. That's fine. Once you figure out what the right order is, you'll never get it wrong. Worse than that, this is only 2 errors that we're looking at right now. We're only looking at 1 error. 1. In fact, we can actually put the SID already exist in there as well. We didn't do it yet, but we're about to. Okay. Before we get further integrated, we're going to try to add layers. We're actually going to be able to pick out errors and which errors are actually happening, right? So we have the max length, we have the max, these things, we can actually indicate which problem is occurring, not just, hey, student ID is required. Okay. We're going to use the concept of mutual exclusion pretty heavily though, because we want to make sure that we are doing what we're doing. Okay. So if it's invalid and SID is dirty or untouched, and I did the or, did I? Nope, I did it wrong. By default, they should be both. If it's untouched, it's definitely pristine if it's pristine, right? So this, I should probably have or. There, right? Right. Let's try it out. Now, what happens if I'm wrong? Then it won't show up in some place. But look, ta-da, no problem. Everybody see that? Why is it twice? Those weren't mutually exclusive. That's your problem. It turns out that and is probably should be an and. Nick. But when I put a number in it, hey, right? We're good. Now we can do the same thing with name, but we're actually going to use SID primarily as our teaching moment thing for the following reasons. One, SID here has to be an integer. So we can do sort of fancy stuff with it, right? You can use the pattern. Just go in pattern equals blah, blah, blah for the string stuff. Like if you left it as a string. Highly recommend at this point, if you're not already using an integer RID, use an integer RID, right? Take you 2 seconds to fix, honestly, yes.
So.
In fact, you want me to fix it? I can fix it too. Like 2 minutes, but go ahead.
So like say for the name, say you wanted to do the validation for it and you wanted to have it that you have to have a first and last name, would you want to put it in there so like the text is space between the two names?
You can get really fancy with regular expressions. I urge you not to worry. Let that be a whatchamacallit. If you want a first name and a last name, a better way to do it, whether or not you have like, you know, like you have a name field in the database, you can actually have 2 fields on your form. Make sure you have a first name and a last name and then put them together before you submit the object.
Okay.
That would be a much better plan if you wanted to enforce it. And why? It's simpler.
Yeah.
You know what's simple? And I'm not saying you're simple and the only thing you're going to get right is simple.
Yeah.
You have enough problems with all the other stuff you have to do. Simple is always the choice, not because I'm telling you or simple. The easiest way to make it work is always should always be selected, because if the less it requires, the more you're going to get right. Yes. You also note that I am actually checking every time. Why is that? If I screw something up, where did I screw it up? I just did it. Whatever it is, I just did it. Okay. If I screwed it up, I just screwed it up. Yes. All right. So let's just put this in here. So now we can put different problems in there. The easy way to do that is to, I know it's not going to make you happy, but it's laugh. Right. We're going to actually just copy the problem one. And then I'm going to put this problem in here. And I'm going to go SID might not be invalid. Honestly, may not actually be invalid. So we really don't need that. And we don't really care if it's untouched or anything. Okay. We don't need to know if it's touched or untouched. Okay. But now we need this other one not to exist. Yes. So we need this to be like this. Because you only want this to show up if that's not showing up. Remember, mutual exclusion, however you do it. Yes. I think maybe student ID could still exist. Let's see. Let's do it to it. Yep. I have to have a meeting over the, yep, those two could exist. Because it is actually valid. So we want to make sure this one was not going to be a problem, but we want to add this to this guy. Oop. And we done fixed it. That's how you do it. Do it slowly, do it. Doing it quickly can cause more and more problems. Yes, more problems, more stuff, more problems. Yes. The other thing is I'm not actually painting this red. We already know how to paint things red, so like I could do it. I just don't want to, right? Like we can just go. I can just do this in the error ones. Now we can get rid of this span, by the way. Ta-da! All right, now let's get really funky. Okay, now we have to do class. We have to do custom validation. Now, custom validation is actually pretty freaking easy because what are we going to do? Well, in our case, we're going to make sure something's an integer. Pretty simple. Yes, we're going to use a no argument, just like required. Required does not have an argument. We're going to create a no argument thing that's going to check to see if that thing that I have is an integer or a regular number. Right? What do you mean integer or some other number? Right? That's what I mean. We're going to do that one. Then we're going to do another one in which we're going to completely ensure that our numbers are maxed and min in real life, right? That no matter how you enter a number, it won't be more than 4. It won't be less than 0. Okay. So we'll do both of those. But in order to do that, we have to create a directive. Yeah. Now, good news. You're going to love this. You're just going to use my directive, right? Just copy and paste it. Please just copy and paste my directive. Don't get fancy. Just take it. Please. Right? So we're going to go ng. I can't. Huh? Yep. Cheapest glasses that money can buy. Maybe not the cheapest. I don't use the 5-finger discount anymore. Note, I said anymore. All right. And get caps lock on for some reason. ng directive. Nope. Nope. Forgot I need to generate a directive. Then I need a directive name. And my director I want to create is going to be I want to be I always screw this up. It's called integer. Yes. Your computer's taking off on you, huh?
No, I'm just going to.
Huh? I know, I'm just making fun.
Yeah.
So then you have a directive that comes out. So I know I'm not funny, but no, it's fine. I don't care. I just was making fun. You know, I don't really care. So now we have a directive, and a directive looks like this. We have to actually implement the validator interface, which has a validate method that takes a control, an abstract control, and returns validation errors or null. And then, of course, register on validation change, which does nothing. We don't actually have to do anything with that. The most important method, obviously, is validate. Validate function has the same as, can't read this. Sorry. Can't read it with glasses on. Can't see the screen with glasses on off. So it's a kind of a thing. So we need to use this validator interface. Whenever the director is invoked, Angular looks for the valid method and invokes it. So what does it look like? It just takes a control, a form element, right? An input, and it takes, oh, excuse me, and it returns validation errors. Did it meet the validation or not? So what does that look like? It takes an abstract control, which essentially is a form. Must return a list of errors, validation errors, or null. If validation passes, we need to return null. That's the way of signifying there are no errors. Before we begin, we need to look and see what we need to do. We want SID to be an integer. So here's our integer directive. Yes. And so we're going to go ahead and do that. It created the files we talked about. It created the directive and the directive spec, and I believe it modified app module to automatically include the directive. We'll show you that change as well. So let's go into app module, and then you can see that it should have the directive here, but then you don't see it anywhere else. Then you go, wait, what? That's right. Unless you want it to be in here, you don't actually do anything. So let me double check the directive here. Selector is app integer. I'm going to change that to just integer. Okay. I'll explain why in a minute. We don't want to have the app there. We just want the integer. This is going to be the thing we actually type into the form, right? I can change to whatever I want. It could be, must be an integer, whatever, but it's got to be unique. Can't be somewhere else. You can't overtake one of the things that already exist. So it'll fail immediately if you try to do that. So I changed that. The selector name is what we'll use in the HTML, so we need that. All right, so note the selector. And what am I missing here? We need to inform Angular this class will be a validator, so we need to register as a provider using the special injection token ng validator. So what does that mean? I'm going to show you. So we go here and you see the selector. We go ahead and specify providers, right? And that's going to be a bracketed. And then, dude, this sucks. I keep going back and forth. Some of the text is fine, and some of the text, I just can't read it. Like, it's like, fine, ng, elevators, what am I missing here? Why is it not happy? I must have me missing the import. That's okay. Use existing. I need the. Oh, what did we just do? I get that whole line. There we go. Existing integer directive. Multi is true. And there's a bracket use I'm missing, which is why it's probably failing. There you go. Ah. And pickety, 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 pickety. Do you love it when it's picky like that? I do not. But there we go. Right. So let's go through every one of these real quick. We need to provide. What are we providing? When we have a provider, we need to specify what we're providing essentially. This is the only time we'll use this. So this is like once and done, one and done. We're going to do this and we're never going to do it again. You're just going to use this in your own thing. You can just copy them. If I would recommend doing the following, I would create the directive just like I did, same name or whatever, and then just replace the files with the contents of these guys. Yes, that would be the easy way to go there. But anyway, now we have a provider. Now we have to import those things. Oh, it already did, but we need more than that. Need validator. And we need form control. And you go, why do we need those? Pretty simple. We're going to modify form elements, so we should need to do that. Now, don't think we do anything with the constructor. No, we do not. All right. So we just need a validate method. See, oops. Form control from above, right? And remember, we're going to return null if everything works out. Now, you guys are going to hate me. JavaScript is a pain in the ass. But there's one technique we can absolutely use in JavaScript that will look foreign as strawberry milk, right? Or mint milk. How about mint milk? You ever had mint milk? I have. It's pretty freaking awesome. Anyway, St. Patrick's Day, the place that my wife lives, they sell mint milk, sweet like chocolate milk, but it tastes like mint. Pretty solidly awesome. It's actually not bad. Strawberry milk, banana milk is an abomination. But ever had banana milk?
Yeah.
They sell banana milk. That's something they still sell. That and strawberry milk, they still sell those too. It's an abomination, right? You can like it if you like it. It's fine. I don't really care. I just know that I hate it. But JavaScript doesn't have like, it's a number, right? So JavaScript doesn't have a lot of things we can use. We actually have to do a calculation to determine, but we're going to actually do the whole thing that we've always done. We're going to get the value, let v be a number, and we're going to set it to value. Big. Good so far? All right. No, maybe we're okay. All right. First thing we're going to do, if it is we can do this. Before you do any calculations with a value, you should always check to see if it is in fact a number. If it is not a number, so we're going to return an error. What does that look like? Easy. We're going to give it a name, and I'm going to name mine not int. And we're going to set that to be true. This is what we're going to check later. And then we're going to get a message. It's an object, right? It's a JavaScript object, right? So the message is right? Because we're checking to see if it's an integer. It's definitely not an integer. So what does that mean? Wait. So it's got two things. It's got a message and it's got a name. We're going to use the name. You remember I talked about invalid? We're going to actually be able to use that name to determine if there's errors as a result of that. So we'll actually be able to see it's not a number. Okay, let's move along. Now we got to see if it's actually an integer. You ready? I hate this, by the way. But if the mod 1, right? Y'all like mod, right? Does not equal 0. It's actually really simple, by the way. In Java and most programming languages where you have separation between an int and a double, when you have an integer, you have an integer mod and a double mod. They're actually different things. JavaScript doesn't have a difference. So the only way to, or the way to easily check is to mod it by 1. And if it works, it's an integer. If it doesn't work, not an integer. Another thing you can do is round it. It's more work. You can round it. and then mod it with its original self. If it doesn't, or subtract it, and if it doesn't, then you'll see that too. But that's more work. More work is more work and not okay, right? Right. So now we go, no errors. So we're gonna just return no. Am I missing something? Nope. Yes. I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like I'm missing something. This is not. I feel like I'm missing something. What am I missing? App module. Is there something in that module? There's not. I guess it's already ready. Let's do it to it then. Oh, somebody said something in the chat. Banana milk. You just resubmit it again. Just resubmit your homework again. The same process over and over and over. I'll only look at the most recent one, no matter what you do. If for some reason it's not letting you, I'll just unset it. Just let me know. Yes.
For this homework, are we just submitting like the VS Code stuff and not the NetBeans stuff?
Because we have a variation of the NetBeans thing, you should submit the NetBeans thing.
And that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason is, of course, the NetBeans thing is, unfortunately, if we all just used an integer, then nobody would care. But some of you use the integer, some of you use a string, and right? And as a result, we have to, yes? So it doesn't really matter, but and if you have a trouble with submitting it, let me know. So again, we're gonna go check this. We don't check this. We're gonna go back to add student, and now we're gonna get fancy. Not really. This is just the data for student ID. Okay. And I'm really spreading it out. Do I need to spread it out? No. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to separate this guy. Where is it? Where's the error? This one. Nope. This is the one we're going to separate. Okay. We're going to replace that one in the middle. This guy. We're going to replace this guy with two more. So we're going to go div. Let's stick with the red. Copy and pasting because that's what I do. I can do it too. I love making that joke. I know you probably don't care. NJF, why is it saying diff? Can that be diff, right? Right. Okay. So now I'm not going to use invalid.
The first one is actually as well.
In there. That last.
Oh, I typed, that's why it did diff. It's
Yeah.
because I used diff to begin with. Right? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to remove the invalid. Okay. Now we're going to go, wait, what? I'm going to remove the invalid and I'm going to change it to not int. And we also have to make sure, because we're going for mutual exclusion, right? We have to have mutual exclusion here. We have to make sure that required isn't the problem. Yes? In this case, right? And then we're going to kind of, actually, the easiest way to do that is to repeat this one, believe it or not, and we're going to get rid of that one. And really all we're looking here is the errors being required. We don't care about the not in. Okay? If the error is required, it doesn't matter. That means it's blank. So not in doesn't matter at all. Think, think, think. Now, I have a question for you. Do I have to write it out like this? No, I do not. There's an awful lot repetitive here. I can really just write with one or two ifs. Yes? Why did I draw it out? Make it easier for y'all to see. But I don't care. Drag it out, don't drag it out, right? We want to check. It's not even running. So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure. I just changed like 7 things. You don't want to do that. That's not good. Not good at all. Don't do that. What you want to do is one by thing, one by one by one, right? And we're almost done with this directive. And then we're going to move the hell on. Also, I believe, yeah. Ooh, you got a problem here, Houston. Can't read it, of course, but it's fine. Ooh, there's a lot of problems. Object is null. I fixed this before. I did fix it. Right? SID error is not in, could be null. Of course it can be null. If it's null, it won't do this. Right? Oh. Yeah, I don't think I put the directive in there either. Did I? I don't think I did. That selects the integer, so it would definitely be null. Property required comes from a signature. The hell? Okay. This is an error that I answer somewhere and apparently else. Okay. Huh. I think it wants me to do this. But that doesn't seem right. That seems less likely. Yep, still have the problem. Object is possibly null. Of course it's null. All right. All right, we're gonna be that way, huh? We're gonna hit Google real quick. I fixed this problem. I know what the problem is. I think I'm skipping something, but what is it that I'm skipping? Nope. First name error is required, name is required. Ah, fucker. Hello, question mark. I know I fixed it. Being that way, huh? Wait, skip that already. Safe navigation. Okay. Think. It's that safe operator. And how much you want to bet? I just missed it. You suck. All right. I didn't miss it. Just wasn't on my thing. All right. So what this means, it's called a safe navigation operator. We used it something like this before, but by putting an what you call at the end. And what this is going to do is it's going to essentially. All right, come on, mouse. Being stupid, mouse. I'll just do it this way. I mean, it's more work than doing the what you call it, but no, cancel, save, just save it, please, for the love of God. Still unhappy. All right. What am I doing here? That's weird. I'm not doing anything weird. This just works. Property required. Nope. I don't know what the hell that is saying. I don't want to know anything about voting. There we go. This is stupid. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, you suck. That is a compiler option. Okay. Oh, why don't I just do that? That's easier. Easier all around. It's a little annoying, but it's easier, right? Remember that thing I just undid? Right? I just undid it. Is it dot required? It's dot. Yep. I removed the dots. Treating it like an array. All right. Should be happy with both. I can remove that requirement, which is what I must have done in the past. But yay. All right. Student ID. Right? I have an E, right? And it's SID is required, right? It's not an integer, but this is a bigger problem, right? That should be saying, no, that's not valid, right? Yay. Yay. So, all right. Yay. All right. Should be this guy. Selector is selected, right? I did put the selector in there. Yes. Oh, come on, I'm running out of time here. On you. Ooh. Ooh. I think that's your problem. I think we don't know about it. I think that's the problem. Adds to module declarations. It does not. No, there it goes. Integer directed. There you go. It is added. All right, so it should be working here. Let's go to integer directive again. We'll look at the selector. Selector should be integer. And then that's student. What am I doing? That's stupid. All right. Something minor I'm doing, and it doesn't like it. And not required. Okay. Should be blank again. Put 1 in there, should be fine. 1.3 should fail. Or did I put it in the wrong place? Definitely put it in the wrong place. Oh yeah, I actually fixed the link, by the way. I already did that student detail by doing that. So we just need to do the thing. It's a number, so it's not letting me put in anything that's not a number, which is good. But it should also not let me put in 1.3, and it is totally let me put in 1.3. So let me see. Input required. Integer. Go back to yep. What if I screw up my selector? How about we get rid of that? Right, I just changed the selector name. Right, and then we go. So here, we go here. Now, why did I change the name? This sounds really stupid. But if you change the name to something that's already well known, like for instance, if integer already exists or something like that, it would fail just because it would fail. Right? And it is still happy doing it. What am I doing? Weird. Um, okay, let's look at it. All right. Where is the error is not it? Let's just skip this. We do need this. Okay. We do need the required. I'm actually going to just put it here. We do need it. It is needed. It's not what's called. Yeah. It's not failing and it should be. So I'll have to just missing something stupid. Enter directly. Do they have to be the same? No, they don't have to be the same. I knew that they don't have to be the same. Okay. I had multiple things that had to be saved. You can't tell me I didn't save something, right? That can't be. Right? All right. It works. I didn't save it, motherfuckers. Right? You can say motherfuckers, right? It's okay. We're all adults, sort of. My wife does not treat me like an adult, but that's it's not funny. It's a source of ire. No, I'm just kidding. It's totally funny. That's why I said it. All right, now we're gonna do a directive, and we only have 10 minutes, so I'm probably gonna finish the other directive offline. Okay, I'm gonna do max value, min value, one of the two. But the good news is I'm gonna do this like bang. Okay, I'm not screwing around this time. I'm gonna do it like really fast. Like not like not like not teaching kind of thing, but like doing it like I had to do it. Okay, because we're a little bit behind, but there's only one difference. One difference. So when we do max value or min value, you have to be able to pass in a value so that you can say what the max or min is. And so that's the only thing we're actually doing different. So we're going to generate a directive. And we're going to go with max val. Really doesn't matter. You serious? Like, that should not have taken that long. All right. I'm just gonna do the both directives real quick. One is actually the same as the other one, by the way. It's just one's less than and one's greater than. It's really, yeah. All right, so that module has actually changed, right? Make sure I'm gonna save everything. I think I'm gonna do the min val because I like to do the min val. So I'm gonna just change this to min val, just so it's shorter. I don't have to do it. I need to validate here. And C is going to be a form control, same idea, right? Same exact thing, right? Really nothing special there. I think I need to import it, which I do need to import it. But good news is, ding, ding. I'm going to, what was I doing, Minval? I'm just going to do that. Bing, bing, bing. We do have to do the provider thing, by the way. We do, but we do need to use a special decorator here. I'm trying to remember where. Oh, okay. I need to do it inside here. So this is going to be input. And what are we inputting? Excuse me. Come on, Ruth. I wasn't in a hurry. You know that wouldn't happen, right? All right. So this is max value or min value? This is min value. So I want min value. And I'm going to specify min val to be a number. And we need that at the end. And there should be a quick fix, update import. Done, right? DDD. I don't actually need this anymore though, do I? Right? And then min value is going to be a number. All right. Now I do my validate. When I do my validate, I do the same thing as I did before. Oh yeah, actually, screw this. I can go faster if I do this. Right? Just copy the whole thing over. Min value. Right? We don't do anything with it. Nothing until we know it's a number. Once we know it's a number, we can do, is this min? Shit, I don't remember if this is min. If, come on, is it below? If V is less than, wait, or equal to, no, we're fine with being less than this dot min value. And then we actually report an error, and that's this type of thing. And we don't want this to be not int. We want this to be a min val error. Min val indicate that it's got to be a number, otherwise it's no good. Needs to be less than min val, right? Ta-da! That's it, right? Like it's not. Okay. All right. So I'm running out of time. But what I'm only going to do is I'm going to make it work offline. All I'm going to do is make it work. All I'm going to do is tie max value and min value to the form and leave it at that. I'm going to change the error message. This is going to be actually pretty important. I'm going to talk about it. I'm not going to be able to do it because it took me too long to figure that other problem out. But See how I wrote this out like really hardcore, integer required and so forth? I'm going to cheat. If it's an error, I'm going to indicate the error. I'm going to use the message, right? And that will allow me to have just one, right? So I'm going to show you that as well. So look out for that. I won't have 6 of these because I don't need 6 of them. All I need to do is put the message in here and indicate what the message is. If there's an error, show me the message and put the message in the parentheses and I'm done. So you'll see that code. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to call it that they finish in 2 minutes. Couple things. Min value is, wait till you see min value, by the way. This is min value, right? Yes. Watch max value. This is why I said I was going to try to do both real quick. Oops. Okay. So this is max val instead of min val. Right? So we're gonna change this to max val. Gonna change this to max val. Right? And we're just gonna flip this one.
Does that still need to be min validation?
No, yeah, this needs to be changed to max val. And then this error needs to change, needs to be. Yeah, no, I actually had it backwards anyway. Less than needs to be less than max val. That means the min val is backwards too. Needs to be greater than min val. Right? That's what I mean. Like those two were like 2 seconds away from being done. Now, what I didn't do yet, and I'm gonna do on my own time, is I'm gonna fix the provider problem. Yes. We need to fix the provider problem. I just need to copy that, literally copy that in, and it's done. And then add it to the form. Boom. Okay, that's the only thing missing. You guys have your progress review next class. We do not actually have class. So what does that mean? What does that look like? Well, I already told Riley that you need to make an appointment. So what does that look like? You email me, and then you say, I'm gonna be here at this time, and I'm there at that time. What do you think? Yes? Nobody's actually emailed me, including Riley. I thought really he would email me and set that up, but
I was thinking about
I'm actually making fun of Riley by saying this. So, because he was like, "Can I just make an appointment now?" And I was like, "Yes, but you have to send an email."
I know, that's why I forgot.
And he-
That's what I forgot.
No, I know you forgot about it. I was making fun. But yes, appointments during class are possible very easily. But if you if you can't make it during class because you ran out of, I can only do 5 students during class. Right after class, it keeps going. Yes. If you need advising, make a separate appointment. It's got 15 minutes. Ding, 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 ding. Okay. And you can meet me as early as today if you like. You ready to go today? Yeah. Remember, look at the thing. I'm looking for progress. Don't look, I'm not looking for a long chat, just looking to see what you have done. Okay? Not what you're trying to do, what you plan to do, what you call it to do. I want to see what you got done. Yes. All right. Any questions? Problems, complaints?
Take a look at this one error that I'm getting here.
Sure. Not over there though.
But
Dude, what are you doing?
I'm
You're
doing
away from my
my-
bag, dude.
my-
What are you
my
doing?
time.
You're close to my bag, man. I'm just fucking with you, dude. I'm just fucking with you,
Nah,
dude.
okay.
I don't care. All right, guys. So there's no class on Wednesday. For those that want to do virtual meetings, that's fine. You're just gonna need to share your screen. So if that's a problem, you'll have to figure that out. I don't know. I don't want to be mean, but like some people don't want to share their screen because they're at work or something like that. How am I supposed to see your progress if I can't see something?
I'll just
right?
tell you about it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You just gotta take my word for it.
Trust but verify is what we like to say. But anyway, what I was gonna say is no, that can be virtual. Just make sure that you're able to share screen, okay? I'll also have a code repository online so that you can dump code there as well. Okay? All right, y'all have a great day. I'm sorry, I didn't really